Welcome to part 2. Now, one thing that I could not help noticing, and one thing that really fascinates me, is the fact that Raila Odinga was extremely defensive of President Uhuru Kenyatta. During that interview, it became crystal clear that that is a place Raila did not want to go. Even clarifying historical facts, Raila did not want to do. As long as the question had something to do with President Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila, his twin brother, some say his Siamese twin, was not prepared to go in that direction. Indeed, he looked very nervous. His body language was nervous every time that name was mentioned. I could not help but burst out in laughter, loud laughter, when Raila responded to a question by Tony Gachoka, where Gachoka said, please confirm or deny that in 2007, the arrangement and the agreement between you and Uhuru Kenyatta was that he was prepared to be your vice president going into that election. Raila's hilarious response, your guess is as good as mine. Now I'm here to tell you that what Tony Gachoka asked was 100% true. And Raila knows it. You see, both Raila and Uhuru go a very long way back. They played together as children. Of course, Raila was an older child. And it is said Raila had this habit of always carrying the young Uhuru on his back. And he was always very protective of the young Uhuru. If you are a bully, another kid who was a bully, and you wanted to get at Uhuru, you would have to pass through Raila first. Indeed, Uhuru Kenyatta was one of the founding members of the Orange Democratic Movement. Oh yes, you heard me right. And so, if you had this idea that Uhuru and Raila bonded mysteriously sometime in 2018, leading up to the March 9th, 2018 shaking of hands, if that was what you're thinking, you're dead wrong. These two gentlemen go a very long way back. And my guess is, Raila answering some of these questions would force him to go back into the details of what really happened after 2007. And some of those details may be painful to the former Prime Minister. Some of those details may be, in fact, embarrassing to the President. Because, as I've always said on this channel, and I've already put on a helmet ready for you to throw stones, because I'm sure some of you will throw stones. I've always said on this channel that Uhuru Kenyatta is a very good guy. He's a very patriotic Kenyan. Deep inside, he has the best interests of the country at heart. That is the truth. He is not interested in amassing wealth and getting richer, like some people. You know, psychologically, and this is human nature, one of the things about growing up, in a situation where you don't lack, where everything you want is around you, it makes you take things for granted. You're not greedy for wealth, more wealth, because there's the realization very early on, that it will not really add to your happiness on this earth. And this is in very sharp contrast to somebody who grows up lacking, poverty-stricken, where their parents are struggling, where they themselves are struggling. The way that other person grows up is very different. And that's just the way life is. And of course, we don't choose where to be born. We don't choose what circumstances to be born. To be born in. That just happens. And so the immediate question would be, what happened? What happened to Uhuru Kenyatta? What happened to the good guy? Well, the simple answer is politics happened. The influence to take his life in another direction politically was stronger. The influence to face real politics, as far as Kenya is concerned, was stronger. Now, what I've just told you becomes very clear when you look at the president today. The president is happier. He's a happier man. If you look at his body language, he's a much more comfortable man. In this life, you become very unhappy when you're forced to be somebody you're not. That will always make you very, very uncomfortable. That is just the way human beings are wired. And human beings are the ones who get into politics. And when you find yourself in that very unfortunate circumstance, if and when you get an opportunity to go back, closer to who you really are, closer to your real self, then happiness will result, definitely. Now, of course, what everybody believes is that the president is a lot happier these days because he's more in control. His presidency is much more stable after the handshake. That's what people believe is the real source of his happiness. He's being much more relaxed and comfortable. Well, I don't quite agree, and I've given you the main reason. Anybody who wants to analyze the Uhuru Kenyatta presidency accurately will have to neatly divide it into three. And that is his presidency between 2013 and 2016, early 2016 I believe. And then his presidency between that period and the handshake, March 9th, 2018. And then of course the third chapter of his presidency is what we're witnessing right now. And to understand these changes in the president, you would have to go very deep into the background, what was happening in the background, and focus on the influences, that were strongest on the president in those particular periods. Now, of course, this is highly sensitive, and now you can truly understand why Raila Odinga was very uncomfortable when questions were being thrown in the direction that had to do with Uhuru Kenyatta. Obviously, that is something very sensitive, extremely sensitive. However, fortunately, if you take in my latest Club 1999 sensitive video, you will fully understand, because we go very deep into that. I discuss why the president was behaving in that way up to 2016, the strongest influence in his life at that time, or rather the ruling influence, and then what happened between 2016 and the handshake. That one is even more sensitive. Now, if you're not yet a member of Club 1999, it's very easy. Just start by using that email address you see on your screens right now, and you'll get an automated response, and you'll be able to become a member. And of course, the first thing that will happen is that you'll catch up even on those sensitive videos that you've missed in the past, as well as taking in this latest sensitive video, which will bring a lot of clarity to you concerning the Uhuru Kenyatta presidency. Now, there's something else that surprised me during this epic interview, on Point Blank, KTN's Point Blank. One political TV show that should be very interesting going forward. Now, what surprised me has something to do with the upcoming referendum, to change our political structures. Now, in my view, Raila was very cagey, when it came to answering questions about the structure, changing the structure as far as the executive is concerned. He was not very forthcoming on that. In other words, he was hiding something. Okay, he made it very clear that he firmly supports the original Yashpal guy, proposed constitution, as far as the executive is concerned, where there was going to be a head of state, a president, more or less ceremonial, and then all the power would be with the prime minister, who would answer to parliament. Now, what Raila did, he quickly went through that and instead decided to focus on his suggested three-tier system of government, which many Kenyans have opposed, quite rightly so, because of the cost implications. However, Raila brought in something new to this particular debate, because he said he supports the reduction of the number of counties. They're just too many. And of course, he went into explaining how we ended up with so many counties. So you reduce the number of counties, dramatically. That saves a lot of cost to the taxpayer, and then you introduce a regional tier. Now, why is a regional tier important? It is important because this will supervise the counties, the county governments, especially when it comes to spending taxpayers' money. Because what would happen in such a situation is that the funds would be released by the central government into the regional authority, and then the regional authority would then release the funds to the county government, while closely supervising what those funds are being used for. In my view, that would make a huge difference, because the situation right now is that the central government releases funds to the county government, and then the county government does what they want. And although they're supposed to be supervised by the national government, most county governors have resisted that by saying the national government is against devolution. Simple way of resisting it. But with the regional government, that excuse will no longer hold water. Because the regional government is not the national government. And therefore, no governor can say that the regional authority is frustrating devolution. That won't fly. In my view, this will dramatically reduce corruption in county governments. And then, of course, regional governments will be able to spearhead regional development blocks. Now, currently, we have already seen various counties coming together in regional economic blocks, meaning that some counties, or rather most of the counties, are too small to be able to do quite a number of things. They have to join forces with the neighboring counties. So the regional authorities will be a very neat solution to this problem. And so, rather than a three-tier system of government being a burden to the taxpayer, it will in fact save the taxpayer a lot of money, in my view, by ensuring better use of public funds and by spearheading development in the counties. And of course, all this will be financed by having fewer counties than we have at the moment. Now, naturally, governors would fight with everything they have any attempt to reduce the number of counties, to merge their counties to form bigger counties. They'll resist that. However, we have a very unique opportunity here, because as Raila said in the interview, most of these governors are serving their last term. Therefore, they have no incentive to resist counties being merged. And indeed, if they're to be truthful, they'll be able to tell Kenyans that from their experience, this is in fact a better way to go. Fewer counties. Now here's the bombshell. The fact that Raila Odinga evaded the question about the Prime Minister and the presidency, the fact that he did not want to go into great detail about that, means that Kenyans have a big surprise coming in their direction from the Building Bridges initiative. The change in the structure of the executive is not what everybody is expecting. We're going to be surprised as far as that is concerned. Now, I have no inside information on this. I cannot tell you what this surprise will be. However, what I can tell you is be prepared for anything. Even be prepared for a proposal where the presidency is retained without the introduction of a prime minister. But then the power of that presidency will be again reduced, and the power ceded out to the regional governments and the counties. I'm not saying that is what will happen, but that is a very high possibility, in my humble view. Until next time, this is Kshs, Kumekucha.